All right. We're doing an after show. If you guys remember, we did an after show on Led Zeppelin. We quickly went through their discography. I think we said, hey, we need to do more of those. In silence, we didn't do more of those. We just forgot about it. And I'm not spending time with the person I like to spend time with today, so I'm bored. I went and broke some branches that fell off our tree from the high winds out here in California. I fucking hate trees. I wanted to bought this property with that huge tree in the back, but I was in a rush to get out. So I had to take what I could get. I fucking hate trees.
You don't
Fucking,
like trees?
they fall.
I know they fall. I love them though.
Somebody want to come out and
Okay.
chainsaw it for me? Fucking get out
Okay,
of here.
okay. So a Rush fan saying he doesn't like trees. And there's a whole song by Rush called Trees, man.
Yeah,
The
Jerry hates it.
trees.
Well, anyway, I had to chainsaw three because of the last hurricane that came through here. Because I
Yeah,
got 16 trees in my backyard,
this tree
Holy
is
smokes.
huge, dude. It's way over my roof. I can't reach the top.
and my wife wants me to cut down the oak tree that I have back there, and so does my neighbor.
Mm.
Because if it falls either way, it will destroy my house and my neighbor's house. It's that big,
Yeah, you should
and
get.
and I planted it.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, because this was new property when I bought it. So every plant, every tree I have here, my wife and I planted with our own hands.
Nice.
So I've actually have an olive tree in my backyard. To
Nice.
extend an olive tree. Yeah.
Making your own olives, your olive oil.
It doesn't make anything. It's just an olive tree, but
Uh,
it's referenced a lot in the Bible, and I also
yeah.
have a fig tree because of the Bible.
Yeah, the fig and the olive tree.
Yeah,
Uh, they're
I
talking
got
about
that
the
in my backyard.
figs wither and give out bad fruit.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, man. So we're here today to do Aerosmith discography. What
yeah.
I forgot to count how many albums. What is 14, I think?
Oh
14.
no, I think there's more than 14.
Well, we're doing the studio albums, so
I got
Oh,
it on you. I got the Aerosmith channel on YouTube, so I can go through the albums.
yeah, I got them. So I
yeah.
got it right here on Wikipedia.
I pulled everything I got, so I'll be able to show the hard copies as well.
I only got one hard copy. I could have pulled a lot, but you said you're pulling. I only pulled one because it has
Yeah,
the original cover on it.
I pulled them all except for just push play. That's the only one I don't have.
A robot.
But
That's
everything else
okay.
I pulled out.
I have it over there. I got the Best Buy exclusive. All
Ouch.
right, man. Well, let's start with the first Aerosmith album released in 1973, and it came out with songs Make It, Somebody, Dream On, One Way Street, Mama Can, Write Me a Letter, Moving Out, Walking the Dog. Which is funny about this album, Dream On didn't become a huge hit till way later. So this
Yeah.
album didn't hit very good. There's the album cover, man. So let's talk about this album, Mooger. What do you think about it? Their debut, man.
Well, one hell of a debut for sure, man. Dream On is on this record, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Come on, man. To have a song like Dream On your debut record, they'll be swimming in Dream On money for years. I mean, that thing gets published. That thing gets whoever owns the publishing on it now. Anyway, that's one of my wife's favorite songs. She wants to play it at her funeral. She lives and breathes that song. I love this. I mean, there's nothing not to like about the first record, man. I love it.
What about you, Travi Patty?
Oh, I love this album. When I started getting into Aerosmith, I this was actually the first album that I bought because it had "Walking the Dog" and "Moving Out" on it, and I love those two songs. I love the whole album. Really, the only weak link for me is "Write Me a Letter," but that song's not too bad. My favorite song is definitely "One Way Street." What a cool bluesy rocker that is. And what a great debut. Like Mooger said, they just burst it out right from the get-go.
It's kind of this album kind of reminds me like Kiss. You know, their albums have a lot of great songs, but it didn't come alive till they did them live. Like these songs, like Moving Out, for one thing, that song is just fucking million times better live for me. And Dream On
Mhm.
too. Dream On's a lot better, but it's still a good studio track. All these albums sound, I think these sound better than Kiss' first album sonically.
Oh
But
yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason, when you see these songs live, even when they did it in later, they still They take another life of their own. What do you think of this album, Andy?
Yeah, you're comparing it to the Kiss debut album, which this one does sound better, but that Kiss album, yeah, the Kiss whole album is miles ahead better. I think this debut album is a hit or miss with me. They got some good songs and some songs that kind of leave you like, oh man, what is this band going to do in the future? And thankfully, they went completely, did almost a 180 on their second album. They gave a little bit more. They got a little bit rougher, a little bit tougher on the next release. Now I do love Dream On. I absolutely love that song since the first time I heard it. And I remember they did some kind of live performance for some kind of MTV um
MTV 10?
awards. I think so. It was a great performance. But yeah, I'm about 50-50 on that debut album though.
But what about like songs like Moving Out and Mama Can live? They are rougher live. They were
Oh
kind
yeah.
of, that's
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm
live
saying.
they're great.
That's why I was comparing the Kiss debut album because those songs on Kiss debut took on a different animal when they were played live. And I think these songs are 100 times better by Aerosmith live.
Live, and I'm also to hear him on the road starts here as
Yeah.
well. On this
I,
one here, it's a lot looser. It's a lot less produced.
yeah.
On the first album, they were trying too hard to sound too perfect, and as we know, as Aerosmith keeps going on, the less perfect they are, the better they are.
Maybe it was the drugs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were just smoking reefer at that time. They're
Yeah, they
all
were
like,
just smoking reefer, so they're kind of calm. But let's get to the second album, 1974. Get Your Wings, Travie Patty.
By far my favorite Aerosmith album. It's just all killer, no filler to me. Starts off with Same Old Song and Dance. What a great opener to that album. But I will say, there's another song on this album that I thought would have made an equally great opener. Lord of the Thighs, great double entendre. Love that song. So sexy, so funky. Spaced. What a great underrated track that is. It's great headphone music. Woman of the World rules. Train kept the rolling. Oh man, that song smokes. SOS with Too Bad in parenthesis. That should have been the album opener. That would have been a great opener to the album. And it contains my favorite Aerosmith song of all time, and it's also my favorite ballad of all time, Seasons of Wither. Amazing song. Love for the devil brought her to me, man. What a lyric that is. And Pandora's Box. I don't know if that should have been the closer for the album, but I do love that song. So I don't have an issue with it. But I think Seasons of Wither would have been an appropriate ending to that album, and have Pandora's Box come on before Train Kept the Rolling, because Train Kept the Rolling segues right into Seasons of Wither. So I think that's how I would have my track listing for it. But besides all that, it's the best Aerosmith album to my ears.
But the
Love it to
thing that
death.
sucks about Train Kept Rolling is Dick Wagner on lead.
And Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter, they just
Yeah,
kick ass on that song.
they didn't need them. They have two great
Uh,
guitar players in their band, man.
and I wouldn't change it, man. I thought it sounded amazing.
I think they do it better live with Whifford and
you know, I,
Perry.
I saw them in 2012, and I saw that Trent Kept the Rolling was going to be on the set list. They didn't play it. They just played Sweet Emotion. I'm like, oh, you got fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Sweet Emotion, but I really wanted to hear Trent Kept the Rolling.
So what'd you think about this album, Mooger? I know it's got one of your favorite songs on there too, because you picked that song on
Oh yeah. I mean,
there.
this album is fucking killer, man. I mean, they just took it from the first album to the second album. They just stepped it up a notch. Production, songwriting, drug use. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a good one, man. Uh, Travis and you pretty much discussed everything I would have discussed on it. So next.
What about you, Andy?
yeah, and also this is the first time that their all time logo is introduced, and of
Right.
course it is on Get Your Wings. Sometimes this is my favorite Aerosmith album. It's so weird that this was their second album, because their first one to this one was a big step
It
forward.
was night and day.
Yeah, it was completely different. Y'all went through the songs. Spaced is one of my favorite songs on this album.
Oh,
SOS Too Bad is great. Seasons of Wither, of course, is one of the first rock ballads. And it's so heartfelt and it's so great. But yeah, this is a gem of an album. Get Your Wings.
And look at
and
this. Oh, go ahead.
I gotta say, we're talking about Lord of the Thighs, Joey Kramer has to be one of the most underrated rock drummers of all time.
Dude,
He
he's
he,
like Phil Rudd.
he keeps a steady beat, but he has such groove.
That's why I said he's like Phil Rudd. You know, nobody notices drummer because they're not flashy, but they keep the beat, man.
Absolutely.
I think he gets his due.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, everybody who knows Aerosmith or loves Aerosmith absolutely loves their drums.
Yeah.
You know, he might not be a household name like like Tyler and I'm sorry.
Joe Perry.
Yeah, and Joe Perry. I'm so sorry.
And Brad Whitford's a better player than Joe Perry, but Joe Perry's like the dreamy looking guy, and Brad Whitford looks like Larry Fine from the Stooges.
It's because those two were called the Toxic Twins. You know, the
Yeah,
people who take the drugs get the most headlines.
yeah, but everybody that loves Aerosmith knows Joey Kramer.
Yeah.
So,
One of the best drummers, man. And
oh
then
yeah,
we're like 73, 74, now 75. It's like an album a year from
yeah.
this band. And we
So,
get to Toys in the Attic. And we'll start with
Mark,
you,
did you
Andy.
get your thoughts on Get Your
I
Wings?
was just talking about it a little bit. There's nothing more I could say about it. It's a fucking great album. Maybe Women of the World is the weakest track off that album for me, and it wasn't
But,
their track, you know,
but
but
it is still rules.
it's still a good song. But I just think that's the weakest. And uh, Lord of the Thighs, what can I say about that? Pandora's Box, what a great album ender. Great shit, man. Now it Toys in the Attic, Andy.
Yeah, Toys in the Attic. It's here somewhere. It wasn't with the other batch, but that's because Toys in the Attic is always out somewhere in this room because it's played a lot. Toys in the Attic is sometimes my favorite album by the band. It's a killer album. It's fantastic. This is when the drugs start coming in and they're still in control of what they're doing, and they're just kicking ass. This is where they're taking the steps forward of being the premier rock and roll band of America. And they will take a few steps closer to being huge. So this was the second step on that stone to keep moving up, and they're doing a fantastic job of it. They are moving to headliner status with this album, and they will hit the stratosphere very soon. So Toys and Attic was a big step for them.
I'll take this one next, man. Standout tracks for me: Uncle Salty, Adam's Apple, No More, No More, Round and Round, You See Me Crying. All the singles are great, but there's so many better deep tracks on this album. It's like
Yeah,
this is a deep track full, especially fucking Round and Round, No More, No More. It's like I got this is where Aerosmith first got on my radar. What is this? 74? I think I was whatever, I 3 or 4.
two or three.
I was
Three.
3. And I remember this at 3. You know, Lee, my ex co-host, is probably going, you remember something at 3? Because Lee remembers something when he was in the womb. But I'm going, I just remember my mom breaking out this record at her friend's house, and she was playing big 10-inch record. She goes, see here, listen to this
Suck up
song.
my Big 10 inch.
I know, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, that's a cool jab. And then later when I got older, I go, oh my God, my mom was talking about dick. Yeah, thanks, mom. Thanks, mom, for that 3-year-old thinking about, well, I wasn't thinking about dick then. It's like when you get older, you realize what these songs mean. Like me, my Prince story about Darling Nikki, when I realized, oh shit, he's talking about masturbating. But that's a great fucking album. I never get bored of any of these songs, but my go-to track on here is No More, No More. I just love the rhythm and the groove of that song, man. What about you, Travi Patty?
It's a stone cold masterpiece. All killer, no filler. I never get burnt out on the hits from the album. But yeah, like you said, Mark, the deep tracks, man. The title track is a deep track in and of itself. It's such a kick ass
Oh,
opener.
it's like a
Round it,
punk rock. Sorry.
Round and Round. That is heavy metal, man. Big 10-inch record. I love that fucking song. I love that freaking song. Adam's Apple Rules, great. Another double entendre tune from Steven Tyler. Uncle Salty, an amazing song. What else can I say about this album? You See Me Crying is such a great heartfelt ballad.
And Uncle Salty's about rape, childhood rape,
Yes, it's about
pedophile.
rape. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe get to that topic later in an album we're getting to again, but
Uh, but it's a great album. It's a classic.
yeah, but the thing is, uh, before we get to you, Mooger, big 10-inch record. You just gotta love it when he goes, whip out my big 10-inch record of it. The pause. He let you think for a second, and then he goes, record. So what do you think about it, Mooger?
Hey man, Round and Round is my favorite song off of this record. I just fucking love that song. But you have all the hits, Sweet Emotion, Walk This Way, Big 10-inch Toys in the Attic. I mean, it is absolutely what it is. It's a band hitting their stride to become the American Rolling Stones. You know, I mean, I think that's kind of where they wanted to go. The drugs were crazy, the girls were crazy, the time was crazy, and they were putting out some fucking great music, man. This is what it's all about when you talk about Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. Fucking 5 out of 5 for me, man.
All right, so we get to Rocks, Andy.
Yeah,
1976.
rocks. Sometimes this is my favorite Aerosmith album. These three are great, man. These three are great. Back in the Saddle. I absolutely love Last Child. Rats in the Cellar. Nobody's Fault. Get the Lead Out. Dude, this is great, dude. This is just them almost coming off the rails, but still just kicking ass. Right here, they've got no apologies to anybody. They're hitting their stride and they're kicking ass. They're kicking everybody's ass that is in their way. Aerosmith rocks.
This is just pure electrified fucking hard rock right here. This is when they're just back in the saddle. Last Child, just a punk in the street, rats in the cellar, combination, sick as a dog, nobody's fault, get the let out, lick and a promise, and they end it with a great ballad, Home Tonight, man.
Ah, yes.
Fucking A, what a great album, top to bottom. Travie Fatty, man.
Oh, I agree 100%. It's a fantastic album, and you got two duets of songs that segue into each other. Like Last Child goes right into Rats in the Cellar, and Sick as a Dog goes into Nobody's Fault. The whole album's great. I guess Get the Let Out would be my least favorite track, but I've grown to like that song as of recent years. Nobody's Fault. Steven Tyler sounds pissed on that song. He's like, everything is on fire. Shit piled up in it. Damn. I love that fucking song. And ooh, what's the son of Licking a Promise? Licking a Promise rules. I love Licking a Promise. I love the whole album. Never get sick of it. Rules.
All right, so what do you think about it, Mooger? Mooger.
I'm here. I think Nobody's Fault off of this record is my favorite. But yeah, Back in the Saddle. I mean, come on, man. What a fucking great song. Last Child, Rats in the Cellar combination, Sick as a Dog, Get the Let Out, Licking a Promise. What a fucking song title, right? Come on, man. I think this is about as high as they're gonna get, literally and figuratively, before everything starts taking its toll on them. I mean, they're recording what? I mean, back in the 70s, what do? You record an album, tour, get back home, record an album, tour. So you're probably recording 2 albums a year, touring 380 days a year. I mean, it's going to take a toll on them, but they're really pumping it out, even at this point. I love it.
All right. And then we get, yeah, it's like 6 albums, 6 years so far. Now we get to 7 albums, 7 years. And this is my favorite album. And I think this is when the wheels were starting to fall off on the band. This is when the heavy drug use,
Oh
Draw the
yeah.
Line, was coming in. But like you got the title track, Draw the Line, you got Critical Mass, Get It Up, Bright Light Fright. My favorite song by them at all time, Kings and Queens, The Hand That Feeds, Sight for Sore Eyes. Everybody talks shit about Milk Cob Blues. I fucking love it. It's a great album. There's not a bad song in it. This is my favorite Aerosmith album. I never waver on this. I love every one of these albums that before it, but this is the one. God, I just go to Queens and Kings and Queens and Draw the Line just blows everything away from me. I love those two songs. Kings and Queens is such an epic. And if you notice on this album, they're all writing together more as a band. It's just not Tyler and Perry. They're all
Yeah.
contributing, especially on Kings and Queens. It's basically the whole band that wrote it with the producer. It's a great album. What do you think about it, Andy?
Well, first of all, this is one of my favorite album covers by them. I absolutely love this album cover. I think it's
Oh,
awesome. Um, the first time I heard this album, again, when the other albums, let's say the other three albums that we're just talking about, the previous three, sound kind of similar to each other. This is completely different. I think Draw the Line, they go back to sounding raw and electric. They never made an album quite like this one again. I think that might be why you like this one so much, because I do too. But it's such a great album that it doesn't sound like the previous three or anything afterwards. So Draw the Line is a fantastic album by them. If there's some people out there that aren't too familiar with this one, please look it up, because it will become one of your favorite Aerosmith albums. Draw the Line.
What about you, Travi?
I do like this album, but there's a couple songs. There is one song I can do without on it. But I love the album cover too. It's like caricatures. It kind of reminds me of the Who by Numbers album cover.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Draw the Line, great song. I Want to Know Why is amazing. Critical Mass rules. I do not like Bright Light Frights at all. Bright Light Fright
Oh,
at
Oh, I
I
all.
love
love
the
that
song.
song.
Love the song.
Not a fan of Joe Perry's voice. I love Joe Perry as a guitar player, but just stay away from the microphone, in my opinion. The Hands That Feed Sight for Sore Eyes is the dark horse on this album. I love that song. And I love Milk Cow Blues. That song's great too.
Yeah.
Kings and Queens is a masterpiece. It is a great album. I just sans Bright Light Bright for me, but everything else is awesome.
What about you, Mooger?
this is one of my favorite Aerosmith records to be released. And what is this, like the fifth in 4 years?
Seven.
Or
Well, like five, right?
This is
Something.
their fifth, but like he
This
was
is their
saying,
fifth album. It's their
Yeah,
fifth
fifth
album.
album in like since 73,
And,
73,
and
74, 75,
the Jack
yeah,
Douglas produced Draw the Line.
yeah, I
yeah,
think
He
so.
also produced another American rock band's debut
yeah.
album that year.
I think they're really burning
Cheap
the
Trick.
candle at both ends on this
Cheap
one,
Trick, yeah.
but I absolutely fucking love it. They put up some great songs on this. Critical Mass is one song that I don't think it's enough conversation.
Great song.
Great.
Um,
Love it.
it's really good. So, yeah, man, they're they're going full steam ahead, and the wheels are starting to get loose.
Yeah, and then they went like 74, 75, 76, 77, and then you could tell the wheels were getting loose because it took them 2 years to make the next album because it came out 1979, Night in the Ruts. And so this is when the wheels on the bus go round and round started falling off because Brad Whitford left in the middle of this album recording it, and they brought in Richie Supa. But they're all on this album, not there. People say, well, Brad Whitford played on a lot of this album, so you can't say he wasn't there. The next album when we get to, we can talk about that one. But Night in the Ruts, I think it's a fabulous album. I love No Surprise. I love Chiquita. I even remember Walking into Sand, Cheesecake. Well, fucking great song. 3 Mile Smile, Reefer Head Women. They had a lot of covers on here because the wheels on the bus were falling off. They weren't that creative, but they were in a studio fucking kicking ass, and think about it, another cover and ended with Mia. What do you think about it, Andy?
It took me a while to get to this album. I thought that it was just all right, but then when Eddie Trunk kind of praises it a lot, I went back to it and I kind of heard what he was talking about. This album is a little bit of ahead of its time as well. If you really listen close to it, you will hear what hair metal would become 4 years later. So Aerosmith was ahead of the curve because that sound would come 5 years later. And I really love all these songs that you had already mentioned, Mark. But Reeferhead Woman's my favorite on here. I just think it's awesome. And so yeah, Night on the Night in the Ruts. Really good album. It took
What
me
do
a
you think?
while, but I got into it.
What do you think about it, Trouty Patty?
Oh, this album rules. It's my third favorite Aerosmith album by far. It's definitely their most like dirtiest and raunchiest album.
Yeah.
No surprise. Oh my god. That could be my favorite. After Seasons of Wither, that could be my second favorite Aerosmith song. Is No Surprise. The way that's the 1-2 punch of No Surprise and Chiquita. A great covers of Remember Walking in the Sand, and they do a really good version of Think About It from the Yardbirds. Cheesecake, we all know what that song's about. Reeferhead Woman Rules, 3 Mile Smile, Bone to Bone, Coney Island Whitefish Boy. Mia, it's all right. Mia's okay. It's not one of the stronger Aerosmith ballads, but the rest of the album just smokes. And I got that album for like $8 at a record store.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It was the original pressing. So
What do you think about it, Mooger?
This is where the wheels, at least a couple of them, have come on. What? Yeah.
Nothing.
So there's a lot of covers on this, and No Surprise is my favorite song off of this record. And I think Night in the Ruts is a great sounding record.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think that they're being stretched a little bit too thin. Let's get out on the road. Let's get a record. Let's get out on the road. Let's get a record. Y'all talked about all the songs on there. Travi pretty much spoke all my thoughts on the songs. So it's a good record, man, but slow down, man.
Yeah.
Well, it took
Slow
them
down.
2 years to make this album, though, compared to one.
Well, it took 2 years to make this record because they took a vacation, did a
Yeah.
bunch of drugs, went into rehab, spent all their money, and had to come back and do a fucking record. So
Yeah, they said they blew their plane up their nose.
exactly.
All right, so since I've been letting you go last, you could go on the next album, man. Fucking A, Rockin' a Hard Place, Mooger.
All
Before
right,
we
man.
do that, I just wanted to say that these were released at around the same time.
Yeah, great.
There was a stopgap, which was Aerosmith Double Live album, and then this was a beginner album for a lot of people. I know that it was one of the first things that I bought from Aerosmith, and they have released a lot of greatest hits, a lot of compilations, but this is still one of the best ones. So that's all I wanted to say before we move on. I just wanted to keep to their timeline.
Well, it was that greatest hits record that got me into everything, Andy. I mean,
yeah,
I knew the classic rock stuff that I was hearing on my rock radio at the time, and my sister brought me that cassette, and that just opened the doors. I was like, okay, this is Aerosmith.
And now Rockin' a Hard Place, this is where the two wheels fell off. You lose Tom Hamilton, you lose fucking Whitford, and you lose Perry, but Whitford's on one song on this album. He plays guitar on, I think it's Lightning Strikes. So what do you think about this album, Mooger?
Hey man, unfortunately, this is underrated record by this band because it fucking rocks. And you have Crespo on fucking guitar, and he's just fucking killing it. Lightning Strikes, Bitches Brew, Cry Me a River, man. Come on, man. All those songs fucking rock.
And they're all
I did
original.
not, yeah, I did not get into this record until, goddamn, way late, way late, like into my 30s and 40s. And I'm like in my 80s now. So it was like, it was so good. And Andy's got a perfect picture of it hanging out right there. I think it's a perfect, unfortunately, a perfect name for the record because they were in a rock and a hard place because the record company was like, you got to fucking give us something. Well, okay, we're going to bring in some more people. We're falling apart. The wheels are off. But they made some fantastic fucking music on this record, man. It's a classic. I love it.
Yeah, or you got fucking jail, but jailbait. The riffs on this album are just fucking. It's like you can't believe that fucking Whifford and fucking Perry are gone
Right.
because these Dufay and fucking Crespo took over fucking nonchalant. It was still Aerosmith. But if you ever seen a video for Lightning Strikes, Steven Tyler looks fucking sweaty, fucking like greasy. You could tell this guy was in fucking doing a lot of drugs. But it's
He
a
looked like he
great
was
fucking
feeding. He was
huh?
feeding or
Lots of
something.
In
Yeah.
that
lots of
video for
Henry
Lightning Strikes.
Yeah.
Lots of Henry the horse.
Oh my God, this is a great album. I fucking love it. What do you think about it, Andy?
Yeah. You know, this is one of those albums I stayed away from because, oh, that's not Aerosmith. It doesn't. But then when I settled in and said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot, it's a good hard rock album. It really is. And it can stand proudly in the Aerosmith catalog. And so I really do like this album as well. Um, you know, you know, that Bolivian Ragamuffin, I like that song too.
What a
Rock
great
in a
name for
Hard
a song.
Place. Huh?
What a great name for a song. I love that
Right.
title.
And Jailbait and Lightning Strikes, it's a really good album. So yeah, I know that a lot of people skip this one or don't consider it a true Aerosmith album.
They're
I
idiots.
consider this a true Aerosmith album more than the others we're about to talk about because
There's
this still has the Aerosmith feel to it. So yeah, I'll give this one probably like a B or maybe a B minus. But after so many A's, they gotta slow down somehow, right? So B minus on this one for me.
what about you, Travi?
Well, I got a couple problems with this album, but let's get to the praises first. Jailbait rules. What a fast-paced rocker that is. Lightning Strikes rules. Bitches Brew is my favorite song on the album. And I like the way Ian described it when RCP reviewed that album. He said, the beginning, you can put a picture in your head of like a witch over a cauldron, conjuring something up as that song begins. Like a hot witch, not like a, saggy one. But that song kicks ass. Great, amazing cover of Cry Me a River. Bolivian Ragamuffin rules. And now we get to my problems with the album. Number one, Lightning Strikes should have started the album. Jailbait could have been a good second song. Next problem, after Cry Me a River, that's when I take the needle off. I'm done. Side two loses me completely. Joni's Butterfly, what the hell is that bullshit? It's written by two people, Steven Tyler and Smack.
Hey, they were doing some smack, all right.
Oh yeah, that song is full of smack. That's when the drugs weren't working anymore.
Yeah. Well, you could, like I said, the Lightning Strikes video, he looks fucking
Yeah,
wasted.
Yeah,
that's
he was
what. That's
bad.
when that's when the drugs weren't working
He looked
anymore.
like a homeless person trying to fucking do something. It's like, God damn, greasy, ugly. It's like, oh God. It's like
That's
preview
when the
looking.
drugs were taking over big
Yeah.
time.
All right. So the band goes through a lull. And then finally, the original band gets back together. But the mistake they did was put the album cover backwards because they called it "Done with Marriage." You got put in. I don't think they should have ever did that. I think it kind of fucked it up. But I think it's a fucking great reunion album with all of them back. Let the music do the talking. Way better than the Joe Perry Project version cover. They did it better. My fist, your face. That's for shame on you. Reason a dog. Sheila, Gypsy Boots. She's on fire. The Hop. And on some copies, you got a song called The Darkness. I think it's a great album, top to bottom, and it's one of the most underrated Aerosmith albums ever. Mooger, what do you think about it?
You think this is one of the most underrated?
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Really?
Nobody talks about this
I
album.
I I am honestly in the dark on this one. I have never listened to this record.
Really?
I don't have anything to say on it. I have no critical review on it. I know this is when they came back together, and I thought, well, that's funny. A whole band of drug addicts coming back together with an album called Done with Fucking Mirrors.
They were cleaned up
I
though,
know
dude.
that's what I used to snort my shit off was a fucking mirror.
I
So
never
now
snorted.
we're doing it with mirrors. So
I never snorted anything, dude. You never heard "Let the Music Do the Talking"? Let the music. Wow, wow, wow. Well, oh God, dude,
don't
you never
think
heard
so.
"My
Don't
Fist,
think
Your
so.
Face"? That's for sure. Oh, dude, you gotta listen to this album, dude.
Yeah,
It's
so I have
good.
nothing on this. I'm a loser on this record. I'm sorry.
Well,
So
we ain't gonna kill you like Beck. But what do you think about it, Travi Patty? Uh,
Not a fan of it at all. I love Let the Music Do the Talking. I love My Fist Your Face. The rest can go fuck off.
shit. What do you think about it, Andy?
You know what, Mooger? I know that you said that you never heard this album. Good for you. You're saving your time. This album sucks.
Oh, I never liked it.
Yeah!
You got you got anything else better to do than listen to Done with Mirrors? Because I understand that it was their big comeback album, and you're like, really? They couldn't work a little harder. So you know, I'm not a big fan of it. I never was, but I gotta have it. I gotta have part, you know, part of the collection. So that's one that I rarely ever spin.
That's
Rarely
okay.
ever spin.
Not
If I
everybody
want to
likes it.
hear that, I go fart somewhere to hear that instead.
You don't like any song off that album?
Not really. I
You don't.
mean, let the music do the talking I like, but that came from the Joe Perry project.
Yeah, but it's way better than the Joe Perry Project
I
version, in
don't think
my
so.
opinion. Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
then
I like that Joe Perry album a lot.
before this album came out, they did Walk This Way with Run DMC,
Yeah.
which kind of
right.
ignited the flame for this album. And this is actually I think this is their comeback album. I think it's a fabulous album. This is the album that got me into Aerosmith. Like in My Heart's the Time, Magic Time, Ragdoll Samoa, Dude Looks Like a Lady. I love that song. I don't care. But fucking then you got the deep tracks like St. John, Hangman Jury, Permanent Vacation, and a fabulous beat cover by the Beatles. I'm Down, and then an instrumental called The Movie, which is okay, but I don't think they should have put that more in the middle of the album, not the end. But I think it's a great fucking album. I don't care what people say about it. I know they had Jim Valance and Harley Knight co-wrote and Desmond Child co-write songs in there. But they needed that. They needed something. They needed to get direction, and that was fine with me. Kiss did the same shit. So what do you think
Yep.
about it, Mooger?
Anywhere you drop the needle on this record is my favorite song.
But you got the one I used to have.
Yeah,
Fuck, I
the
missed that
Stitch.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, so many memories as a kid listening to this on cassette. And I fucking love it. There isn't one song on here, literally. This is a non-skipper for me. Um, uh, Hangman's Jury
Oh,
is one of my favorite fucking songs. And that right in sync, John. Oh my God. So I love this record. And I know this is what is touted as the MTV era of Aerosmith. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? It's good music, man. I love it.
the thing is with this album, they still had the Aerosmith crunch. They all, even when they got polished, they still had the Aerosmith crunch to me. Well, other albums coming up, maybe not. But then what do you think about it, Travi Patty? You hate it too?
No, I like this album. There's some songs I love on here. Hearts on Time is one of the most underrated Aerosmith songs. I love that too. Magic Touch rules. I love Ragdoll.
Nice.
I love Ragdoll. I love Ragdoll. Fuck, dude looks like a lady though.
I love that song.
Fuck that damn song. That song is dumb. Hangman Jury. Girl keeps coming apart. I fucking love that. Angel is beautiful. They have no business covering I'm Down.
I love that version now.
That's all.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, Permanent Vacation. Absolutely love this album. This would have been great if they never did Done with Mirrors and just went straight to this. I absolutely love Ragdoll. I think that's a great track. Hearts Done Time is really good. I hate Dude Looks Like a Lady. Every time that song comes on, it sucks. It is so bad. It's got it's got nowhere. It should be nowhere in a Aerosmith discography, but it's one of their biggest hits of all time, and I don't know
It's
why.
hearing that song, like you said, is like a mule kick to the nuts.
And I
As
love
soon
I
as I
love the
hear
song.
that, as soon as I hear that, I hear I
Change it.
just hear like a big kick to my pants.
But Angel is such a great song. I
Love
love the
Angel.
song Angel. I've
Coming
got
back.
I've got the 45 to Angel. I just couldn't find it. I know that I've showed it once here before, but I think that their performance or their cover of "I'm Down" is fantastic. We all know they're great Beatle fans, and they would never do a Beatle cover and not put their 100% into it. So I think that's great. Also, Saint John is really a good blues rock roots song. It's something that we think of them more of, but they don't really show it that much. But they sure do show it on St. John. So this is a good album. This is to get their mid '80s stuff, and it's good. It bought them more time, which is what they needed.
Hmm. And then we get to my favorite, second favorite album by Aerosmith of all time called Pump.
All
I think
right.
I think this album is fucking fantastic. It's hard rock. It's metal. It's got fucking blues. It's got fucking Aerosmith crunch to it. Like you got Young Lust. Starts off with Young Lust. And then he goes Fina fine. Love in an elevator going out. Love that fucking song. That is fucking double entendre. Fucking shit. I love it. Monkey on my back. Walter song. Janie's got a gun. Documer stop the other side. Inside one. You got My Girl's really good. Don't get mad. Get even. I like it. Don't get mad. Get even. My favorite song off this album, Hoodoo Voodoo Medicine Man. What a fucking jam. And then it ends with What It Takes, a ballad. I think they should have put that before Hoodoo Voodoo, but I still like it. Great fucking album. What do you think about it, Andy?
Oh, I absolutely love Pump. I think Pump is fantastic. It's one of my favorite albums by them. You're right about What It Takes. It should have been before Voodoo Medicine Man, because Voodoo Medicine Man can be a great closer
Closer.
because it extends. It goes a little bit longer than the other tracks, and ooh they really do really good with instrumentation. What It Takes is one of my favorite ballads of all time. I think I think Tyler just sings his heart out on this song, and it's beautifully written. I know that they have like a lot of people, a lot of outside writers helping them. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Jamie's Got a Gun is a great track. You know, right here they're starting to get into social songs, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's what was going on in the '90s. We were starting to get social songs from these rock bands, and I don't mind it. Sometimes they had to talk about that. Love in an Elevator is freaking awesome. I love that song. I love the extended guitar work on there. You think the guitar solo is over, and then they hit you again with another one, and it's great. Um, Also, the other side is another good song, and these were big hits for them. Right here, you know what? It's very rare. And Al Horta, my co-host on Black Spinner Circle, talk a lot about how bands last for 10 years and then they wither away. Aerosmith does two 10-year um, careers here. And right here, they are in the middle of their second half because we can easily say that it started with Permanent Vacation and then they make an album even better. They weren't just coming back for a comeback and going away. This one was so much better than Permanent Vacation, and I love Permanent Vacation. So Pump is a great 90s album. I think this was my number one album of 1990 as
Great
well. It's
album.
so good.
89, but
Yeah. What do you think about it, Travis?
89, thank you.
so no problem. This album rules. It's such an amazing album. I love it more than Permanent Vacation. And unlike Permanent Vacation, I love all the hits on this album. I love Janie's Got a Gun. I love Love in an Elevator. I absolutely adore What It Takes. My third favorite Aerosmith ballad.
It is a great song. I just think
one of Steven Tyler's best vocal performances of all time. Amazing. But the deep tracks, man. The deep tracks. Young Lust. Fine. My mom and daddy says I'm all right. Fucking love it. Monkey on My Back. Yeah, jeez. It just kicks ass all the way through. And it would be great if this would be their final album.
Oh. Yeah, my wheels didn't come off yet. My wheels did not come off with this band yet, because then we get in. Did you talk about it, Mooger?
I have not.
Talk about Pump, man.
So this album is Fine. Fine. Right?
Oh yeah.
I think this album gets overlooked. I think Lovin' in an Elevator was a great song. I mean, you can't argue that. Janie's Got a Gun has a special personal moment for me in there. So that song has, I will listen to it anytime it comes on. I don't give a shit. I will listen to it. This album it was just a magical moment for me. In '89, so many good bands releasing so many great albums. 89 was a magical fucking year for music for me. I was a sophomore in high school. All this shit was coming out. I loved it. It was very, very, very good. As far as a Aerosmith record, holy shit. You just don't get too much better than this in the later end of the career. You know, maybe I guess this would be the middle of their career, I guess. But but it's so good, man. So good. So good. I still have so many good memories of this record.
Oh yeah, me
so
too.
Yeah, man. Always gonna be near and dear to my heart.
This is the second time I saw them. I did see them on Permanent Vacation with Dokken Back for the Attack open, and they were horrible, Dokken. And then I saw them on this one, and I saw Skid Row with Sebastian and AK Das. It was a great opening act on this tour. I remember I saw the first day at the Forum of this. They played 2 nights at the Forum on Pump, and my mom went to the second day, and she said, that opening band? He just keeps banging his head. He's gonna break his neck." And I remember when Rick James used to bang his head, and he broke his neck banging his head. And my mom goes, "See, I told you they would break their neck banging their head." And Sebastian says he can't do that anymore. So yeah, it kind of hurts your neck after a while. But and then we get to, I guess this is where the wheels fell off the bus for Travie Patty. So I'm gonna let you Get a Grip.
Living on the Edge is an amazing song. That song is one of the best Aerosmith songs ever. The rest, to quote Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, that's one big pile of shit. That's all I gotta say about that.
I totally disagree with you. It starts off with Eat the Rich, man, and then the song Get a Grip and Fever, Living on the Edge, Flash, Walk on Down. I like Shut Up and Dance. I love Crying. I love Gotta Love It. I love Crazy. I love Lineup and Amazing. I think Amazing is one of the best tracks ever by them.
Oh,
that guitar,
Jesus.
the guitar that they're fucking playing in there. And when Steven goes, the light at the end of the tunnel may be an oncoming train. I fucking love that shit. What a great fucking album. What do you think about it?
I wish I was in front of that train.
What do you think about it, Andy?
You know, when they performed Shut Up and Dance on Wayne's World 2, I thought it was cool. But this is a great album from beginning to end. Amazing is one of their best songs ever. The writing is fantastic. the guitar solo, the way it ends, it's unbelievable. Um, yeah, it's got "Eat the Rich" and the title track "Get a Grip," and also the songs on here that are deep tracks. They're really deep tracks, and
Yeah.
they extend these songs, and they're really good. They're playing really good, really strong, and sober, and they are crystal clear, and they're great. I'm not that big on the song "Crying." No, no, wait, not "Cry." I love "Crying," but "Crazy." I think "Crazy" was a little, the writing was a little trite for me. But man, it's a really good album, and yeah, they are still going strong on this album, which was a big seller for them, and it should be because it's fantastic.
All right, Mooger, take us out on this album.
Hey man, I saw this tour and they
Oh,
were fucking amazing on this tour. As far as the album goes, certainly loved it when it first came out. Popped into my player all the time, didn't leave. Holy shit, did MTV get a hold of it and just really wore out a bunch of fucking songs for me. All of those ballads, all of those Alicia Silverstone ballads, man. But you can't shake a stick at the fucking musicianship and where they were on writing songs and performing. They were on fucking fire. And whether they
they're on
were
top of the
complete,
world.
yeah, man. I mean, you can hate on the songs all you want, like, oh, that's overplayed, or I don't like that song. It's like, well, it's a really fucking good song, isn't it? Everyone needs to take a step back sometimes and say they're overplayed songs, but they're a really good fucking song, isn't it? So let's just be appreciative that at this point, I got to see Aerosmith fucking rock it in Fort Wayne and fucking have a great album behind it. I don't go back to this one as much as I do some of the others, but it's
Mhm.
still a supreme fucking record. I love it.
All right, and to me, the next album, Nine Lives, is the last great Aerosmith album. I got the original cover. I bought this right when it came out. I still have it.
Nice.
That's
Oh, that's
the cover they changed because the Hindus got
right.
mad at this cover. So I got the original cover on there, and it starts off with the title track, Nine Lives. What a fucking great song. Then the single Falling in Love is Hard on Knees. Great fucking hole. There's a hole in my soul. Taste of India is just a fucking jam. Fucking love that full circle's good. Got something's gotta give. Ain't that a bitch? The farm, crash, kiss your past goodbye. I know people don't like Pink. I like Pink. Attitude adjustment and ends with fallen angels. What do you think about it, Andy?
Yeah, this album here, sometimes bands take a step back after a blockbuster, like Get a Grip. But on this album here, they took a step forward off a burning building and jumped off of it.
Ooh.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. That song Pink, I oh my god, I could have just when I heard Pink and saw that video, I could have. I mean, I don't know what the hell I was watching. I mean, is this one of my favorite bands of all time? Aerosmith doing a song called Pink. It's just mind-blowingly horrible, and I can safely say, after Get a Grip, have no use for them at all. So that's how I feel about Nine Lives.
Well, this is me after this album. But
Yeah,
what do you? But Taste of India is like one of my favorite songs by them. But what do you think about it,
yeah.
Travi Patty?
Oh, the Taste of India is all right. It's fine. Not a fan of the rest. It's like diarrhea music.
All right. So what do you think about it, Mooger?
I think this was a very decent record. I saw them in amphitheater on this tour that summer, and that was fucking beautiful. Um, I believe it wasn't the Kenny Wayne Shepherd, but it was another guy who opened up for him, and they all came out for a jam. It was great, and there are some really good songs on this record, but at this point, kind of checking out, man. Kind of checking out. Um, but it was I think it was a obligatory record for me to buy, and because it was Aerosmith and they had something out, and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna listen to it, but it didn't really, for me, it didn't really check all the boxes, man. I just don't go back to it. I don't. Even if there's some good songs on it, I don't go back to it. So
Well, this is the last Aerosmith album I bought. Well, not bought. Well, this isn't the last one, but last like originals album I bought by them, and it's fucking horrible. This is one of the worst fucking Aerosmith albums. I just pressed play, and I got the Best Buy edition with Face. There's only one good song on here, and it's called Jaded. Well, just press play. I do like that song, but that two songs. But this is fucking one of the worst albums, and they fucking copy the autograph fucking cover.
Right.
Fucking horrible.
Dude, that
a
album
little
cover,
bit, a
that
little
that
bit.
album cover is stupid. That
Fucking
is a
horror. It's
stupid
just
album cover.
horrible. It's fucking horrible.
It looks like something you'd see at a late '90s
Dude, this is
rave.
my original copy. See, Best Buy exclusive.
It's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I listened to this album twice. I stopped. What do you think about it, Andy?
You know, when I thought it couldn't get worse for Nine Lives, I was wrong. Just play, even though I do like Jaded. Jaded's okay. But if you, it's an okay song, but it's not an Aerosmith song, if that makes sense. I did see this tour. I had to be dragged to it because I was promised that they were going to play, I remember my cousin saying, well, they're going to play more than just off of Just Press Play. They better. I'm telling you, they better. And they did, but still, it's a bad album, man. And right here, I've got no use for them at all. And that was tough for me to say. So yeah, bad album.
Travi Patty.
I'll go last. I have some
All right,
thoughts.
Mooger.
Okay. Not good. This was around the time that Napster was in full swing, and I was like starting to pick tracks off of Napster. I used it because I got tired of paying $20 for a CD with 2 good songs and 16 shit. So I'm sorry, I did, but I will always support my artists and buy their material and their product if you put out something worth buying. This was the first time I saw big cracks in the machine. Steven Tyler said we were sending tracks back and forth on hard drives and putting our own input into it, and it shows that there was no collaboration on this record, man. It's cold, it's digital, it sounds like shit.
Like the cover.
Nope, I don't like it. Fuck
No,
this
it's
album.
cold and digital. I said like the cover.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I don't like this record, and I never bought it and never bought into it. That's me.
I did because I liked Nine Lives and I liked Jaded was the first single off it. And I go, oh, and then I listened
Jaded was okay.
Jaded was
Yeah,
good. And then the rest of the album was just shit. But then we get to Travi.
Am I supposed to be turned on by that album cover? Because I'm not. It's just, what the hell's that, man? I'm probably going to be the nicest on this album. Yes, I do like Jaded. And there's one more song I do like on this album. I like Beyond Beautiful. I do like that song. Everything else eats ass.
It's like this guy, Marty Friedrichsen, who came in and fucking co-wrote songs and then co-wrote shit. Who is this fucker? He started with Nine Lives with them. I don't fucking know.
And Jaded's the last Aerosmith song I like.
I like 2 songs. I did like the title track, Just Press Play, and Jaded. That was it.
I like Beyond Beautiful. That's a good song.
And then we went to the next album, which I think might be the last good Aerosmith album because it's a bunch of covers and blues. And I did buy this at Costco, and it came with a little honker harmonica, which is pretty cool. It's a little keychain. I lost it. Sucked. That was a good one. It's got Blow Diddley cover, fucking Baby Please Don't Go. Great fucking album. This is what I wanted to hear Aerosmith. And I go, oh fuck, they're back. They're fucking getting gritty. They're getting down to the blues. And we'll talk about their next album after this. But what do you guys think about Honkin' and Bobo, Mooger?
I think it was a obligatory album. I think they had to get out of a record deal. I liked there was more enjoyable songs off of this than just Push Play. I don't have a lot to say about it, man, because I can't tell you I've listened in depth to any of these last four records. Next,
right. Andy.
Yeah, I think on Black Spinner Circle we did something called One and Done with Aerosmith, and I think you were on there, Mark, and where we had to pick at least one good song off of each album, or like our favorite song off of each album. So I heard this one, and it became my favorite.
Whoa, Andy! Even albums you hate
for Aerosmith, yeah.
Even albums you hated, you had to pick one good song, right?
Shut up, Mooger. I know where you're going with this.
So, when I had heard this and not hearing it at all before, I do need to say I really did enjoy this album quite a bit. I thought the guitar work was great. I thought that Steven Tyler was in great voice. I think this is one of those albums that we were waiting for them to record a rock and blues album, and to giving homage of the blues of the past with Aerosmith flavor. And I thought it was great, and I liked it a lot.
What do you think about it, Travi?
Honking on Bobo, more like huffing on butane, because I think that's what they were doing when they made this damn album. This is as blues rock as Tora Tora. This album fucking sucks.
I love Tora Tora. I got a
fucking
picture.
Tora Tora is amazing.
Tora Tora rules, man.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna be putting on my walking shoes and getting away from you, man.
I get my rocks off to walking shoes. Get the hell out of town,
dude. Fucking
Wild America, motherfucker.
Wild America rules. And their last album, fucking Bastards of Beale. Fucking great fucking
Bastards
album.
of Beale. What?
Beale Street, Beale Street,
Yeah.
But let's get to the last. Let's get to an album which I get pissed off because I haven't bought an Aerosmith album. Last one was bought was Honkin' on Bobo. I fucking regretted buying Just Press Play. You bought that?
No. No, I didn't.
We did a review on it with Lee, and I think there's 7 good songs on it, and the rest is fucking trash. It's just fucking horrible. And fucking Carrie Underwood, bitch. Carrie Underwood, Steven Tyler. I'm calling you a bitch, Steven Tyler. You're looking for a fucking hit with the country thing. And then you got this motherfucker Fredrickson on here ruining them again. If you guys ever make one last album, I want all 5 of you in the studio. I want all 5 of you writing the fucking songs. I don't want the outside writers. I wanted what Brad Whitford wanted to do on this album is get all 5 of you in the studio and do an album. Because this album blows donkey dicks. What do you think about it, Andy?
Mark, I really love your opinions on things, and I have great respect for you. But you said there were 7 good songs on here? What are you?
I like Street Jesus. I love XX. Oh yeah, and oh wait, there isn't. My bad.
It's like the biggest mess that I've heard in my life. Again, I had to get it so they could be part of my collection, which shows you how much I hate Just Press Play. I wouldn't even let that in my house.
That's worse than Just Press Play, though.
You're right. This is a really bad album. There's nothing good about it, and I don't blame them for not making another album after this.
You're doing a podcast?
I'm almost done.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Travi?
Album covers can be very deceiving because this album cover is cool.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty awesome. Then I saw the duet with Carrie Underwood, and I'm like, yeah, that should have been a red flag immediately. 15 songs too long. You know how this to me sounds like a try-hard album. This sounds like totally phoning it in. It sucks. There's nothing redeemable about it. What's this? Even the rockin' songs are just blah. Like Legendary Child is just Aerosmith by the numbers.
Remember
That could have been that could have been the best second song from Get a Grip.
Remember they debuted that on American Idol?
Yeah, and I cried that day.
Yeah.
It's a total shit album, and what a terrible way to end your career.
It really is.
It is. That's why I want them to
get back. If they do get in the studio one last time, please get Jack Douglas in there too. Exactly.
Well, you need to do what Brad Whitford said. All 5 of them get in the studio, write an album. This is what he wanted to do with this, but Steven and Joe argued, "Oh, we need outside songwriters."
No, they don't. Please don't. They're just. It's over.
Since this Fredrickson dude came in, it's fucking horrible. This guy's a horrible songwriter.
Well, they don't need outside songwriters.
No,
they proved that in their first 4 to 5, 6 albums.
Yeah.
So they just need to. They're all clear-minded now. I mean, I don't know. Joe Perry's been snorting coke with Johnny Depp. I don't know, but maybe that's going to be a good thing, and they can all get together. I don't know. You're all in your 70s. Do a bunch of drugs. Make good music. Put out a good album. I don't give a shit.
Have a heart attack making a new album, yeah.
Right.
At least one good song. At least one good song, please.
Yeah, do us a single to take us out. Get this last 2 albums out of the fucking just press play and this album out of our fucking mouths, man.
And I have not put my thoughts on this last album.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
I have none. 0. I have never even listened to it. So
you really shouldn't.
You really shouldn't. It was horrible.
I really shouldn't.
You know, I do have one good thing to say about this album. When I saw them on this tour, I'm very happy that they played nothing from this album. Even they knew this. Even they knew this album blew.
Oh god, it blew donkey farts.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad they played Walking the Dog on that tour, and they played a combination. That was awesome.
Ooh, nice.
But dude, I swear this album sounds like it's 2 hours long, dude. It's like never fucking ending. Ugh.
It was 67 minutes too long.
Oh my god!
And then they had a bonus track. They had a Walmart bonus track.
It's like Aerosmith. What are you thinking? You're Aerosmith, not Iron Maiden.
Okay, listen. Then they had a Walmart bonus track called "Shaky Ground," a Temptations cover, which made the album 72 minutes. And then they had a Japanese bonus tracks of "Shaky Ground," and I'm not talking, which made the album 75 minutes. And then they had the deluxe edition with disc 2 with an extra 12 minutes. What the fuck?
They made a deluxe version.
Deluxe version.
Who's
with
that?
Yeah, they had "Up on the Mountain," "Oasis of the Night," and "Sunny Side of Love."
What is this like? God. This is like, what is this like? S&M music? It hurts you.
This is hurting my brain. Now I want to go listen to a little bit. Hey, Julia Lennon did sing background vocals in Love XX.
What can you fucking do?
XX. What kind of a title of a song is that for grown men in their 60s?
XXX. At this point, porn stars have more talent than these guys.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, this is a horrible album. They fucking had a deluxe edition with a DVD.
A deluxe edition.
But the deluxe edition with the DVD had Same Old Song and Dance live performance. Oh yeah, live concert to Rats in the Cellar, Train Kept Rolling, a conversation with Tyler and Perry, Brad Whitford, a bunch of interviews. But they had some like good old tracks on there at least. But fuck, I wouldn't even buy a deluxe or a super deluxe or if they ever release a box set of this, I'm gonna
a box set.
I wonder if they would ever do that.
God, why?
Of course not.
I don't know, man. This album sucks. They went out with a whimper the last 2 albums. I did like in the middle with Honking on Bobo. I did love that album, though.
Yeah, me too.
But that was a bunch of covers, and But
Oh,
overall, what do they got? Maybe 4 bad albums in their discography?
Yeah, and they were the last ones.
Last ones, yeah. So, closing thoughts, Travis?
I still love Aerosmith. Like the 70s era of Aerosmith is one of my favorite bands of all time. Yeah, they splintered off in the 80s just a little bit, but they still had some great stuff in the 90s. They totally went off my radar. But for the most part, I'll always cherish the old school Aerosmith albums to the day I die, till the day I die. I love the old school Aerosmith stuff.
What about you, Andy? Thoughts?
Oh, yeah, Aerosmith is one of my top 10 bands of all time. They always will be. And when you love a band so much, you go through the ups and downs. And thankfully for us, a lot of it was in the up.
Yeah.
And when they started to hit rock bottom, you, it was after like 30 years of doing great stuff. So we still have a lot of great music to cherish from them. And people when people think of Aerosmith, they don't think about their last 4 albums, and there's a
No.
reason for that. They're
Yeah.
not good, you know.
What
But
about
other
you?
than that, they will always be one of my top 10 bands of all time. They might even be the greatest American band
Yeah.
as well, up there with Tom Petty. Just that
Oh,
when
Tom
Tom
Petty.
Petty ended his career, he ended in a very high note
Oh yeah,
with
he didn't put out shit. He never
no,
Tom
no, he
Petty
did.
never put out. That's a thing
No.
we should do a
Yeah,
talk about Tom Petty and
yeah,
Heartbreakers. Just Tom
yeah.
Petty
Next
in
time.
general. That should be the
Yeah,
next one on this. But what about
yeah,
you, Mooger? Final
definitely.
thoughts on Aerosmith?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Hi. Um, Aerosmith will always be fucking iconic. No one is going to remember those last 4 records.
No. Mm-mm.
Nobody. When they hit rock bottom, they were fucking putting out some fucking stellar fucking records, man. If you want to call them the rock bottom of the drug usage or whatever, band turmoil. Unfortunately, those last 3 or 4 records they put out was a full band, a full original band putting out shit. So forget that. If no one thinks of that anyway. When you think of Aerosmith, you think of Dream On, Walk This Way, Toys in the Attic. You think of those classic fucking songs, man. That's all you're going to think about. And I fucking love Aerosmith. They are the, besides Kiss, one of the best American rock and roll bands.
The thing with me, I love everything that Aerosmith did up to Nine Lives. I think Nine Lives, this when the wheels started falling off on him, you could hear it on the album. You could hear the band going in different directions. I think Get a Grip was a phenomenal album, even though Travi doesn't. But if you want to listen to great Aerosmith, listen to Up to Get a Grip.
Yeah,
Even you don't like Done with Mirrors, and I'll give you that. That's okay
yeah.
because not everybody digs that album like I do. I think it's a lost gem for me. A lot of good tracks on a lot of cool Aerosmith tracks on there. But man, that was a great show, man. You got anything to promote, Andy?
Um, except for we got a couple of things coming up on Three Shots Down. We are going to be doing an episode about Cliff Burton or about the life of Cliff Burton. That we'll be recording that hopefully tomorrow. That'll be coming out soon. Jerry and I are going to be doing our Gridiron Smackdown. It's our football podcast, and also on Black Sprinter Circle, we are going to be doing our 10+5 um, top albums by guitarist albums. That's going to be along with Jamie James Schwartz, and also with Joseph Staub. And then I'll be back on the BS sessions. We'll be doing our top songs by Elton John. So I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. I'm excited.
Travi will be on that episode. Travi's
Yeah.
coming up on a couple episodes of Freeform also. So
Yes.
he's gonna
Yes,
be
sir.
on. He fucking pushed his way on our fucking 500th episode. I'm on
I
that
did.
bitch. Yeah. So he'll be on that episode,
Yeah,
but
but it's like Black Sabbath is like my cocaine. I need it.
yeah. So if you guys haven't recorded us a thing to put on the episode, get it to Jerry or get it to me. Give us your recording. Give us a quick 40 seconds of a congratulations on your 500th episode, or how did you make 500 episodes? Give us a slam us or congratulate us. We don't care. We'll take whatever. But Mooger, man, what's up, man? What do you got?
Hey, just happy to be here, having a good night, had a great week. We got about 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches of snow overnight. So I spent the entire day shoveling my drive.
I like watching
So,
the snow from California.
well, hey man, Andy, always good to see you. Travis,
Yeah, it was
always
great to see you.
always good to have you on. Always love being here. Mark, I love you. You're my brother. Even though I bust your balls, I love you.
I get it. I bust your balls too. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I'll give you guys a little reference. Recorded a Sabotage album last night, and
Oh,
I didn't pick a track off the album. That's why he's busting my balls that you picked
wow.
one from an album you didn't like. So he got me on that. That's a fun episode when it comes out. No spoilers.
I
You'll
look
probably,
for. I'm going to be a first day listener of that one.
yeah. Mooger gets on me big time on that album. It's like you gotta listen to it.
But as you say, Mark, it makes for a good
It
episode.
does. And
And and I was actually very acting in that rant.
I liked
So
it.
because I always say like, well, God, man, all these people at each other's throats, and you're like, well, it makes for a good episode. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And then you're like, yes, it does. And I'm like, all right, we'll make a good episode, motherfucker.
All right, but this week on Freeform Rock Podcast, right now we got what do we have out right now? Fuck.
Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick with Ross Warner, a great
Ooh.
interview with the guy who wrote the book. There's it's a long episode, guys, but it is really good. Ross even told Jerry, I said, you three have great chemistry together on that podcast. And that was a great compliment for me because I don't think anybody likes our podcast, but I don't give a fuck. I'm glad we'll bring that guy back on because he licked our ass saying that we got great chemistry. Ross, you're coming back, buddy. But this Friday we are releasing our top 11 albums of 2024. So be there. Freeform Rock Podcast comes out every Friday. We never miss an episode. Thank you guys, and I will be seeing you guys on Freeform and the BS sessions. Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Later. Bye.